belated Wellness Tips for You Wednesday, because it's happening on Thursday. Happy Halloween, by the way. Have you seen any spooks and ghouls yet? So, this is probably bad timing because this is all about sugar. Maybe watch this after you've eaten all your Halloween treats. That might be a good idea. So today I am talking about the inconvenient truth of sugar. It's incredible. About 20% of our year 6 kids in the UK, which means they're 11-year-olds, are similar actually in the US. I think it's about 18-point-something% of 11-year-olds in the United States have now become obese, which is pretty scary. And I think a lot of the fact, or a lot of the reason for this is because part of it is the marketing of our food labels. Part of it is the fact that we just don't understand that a lot of the sugars that we are actually consuming are in our drinks, or they're hidden in food, which are marketed as healthy. Now, previous Wellness Tips for You Wednesday actually went over food labels, but today I've got a few more examples where I've actually written out some of what the marketing is, and I've also done a comparison of the amount of sugar that these things contain against the amount of fibre, because that's technically what you want to be looking at. And if you've not already clicked to join my free group, I'm actually running a free group starting the 4th of November. We're going to be going into obviously sugars, but balancing our nutrients correctly so that you get that steady flow of goodness, so you don't get those sugar cravings throughout the course of the day. I am just over 1 week of going completely teetotal, which for me is an absolute miracle because I love my alcohol. I love wine, champagne, sparkling wine, mojitos, beer, cider. I like booze. But it's done. I've not had a problem at all, and I think it's because I'm following timed nutrition, which is where I balance the macronutrients. So I'll be sharing more about that in the group as well. You don't have to go booze free if you don't want to. If you purely want to do optimal nutrition and learning about macronutrients, that's cool, and we'll have some workouts in there as well for all different levels. So anyhow, getting back to this, so the inconvenient truth about sugar. With my very, very blunt lead boots on, we all need to start reading food labels, and we all need to start preparing our own food, because it's the packaged stuff, even when it's packaged as healthy, which is causing the problems. Hands down. If you can cut that out or seriously reduce it, you're going to make a massive difference to the amount of sugar that you're ingesting. It's the fact that we've become such obese populations, and diabetes is through the roof. Diabetes type 2 is related to the amount of sugar that we're eating, and most of us don't realise quite how much we're eating, and the cascade of chemical reactions that actually sets off in our body. You know, I think we've all become very complacent. We sort of say, oh yeah, I'm just going to get my sugar fix, and sort of not really think much about it, and think, well, I'll just brush my teeth well later on that night. But then we're all getting fatter, we're all getting more diabetes, we're all dying of more heart disease and strokes, we're all getting more fatigued, we're all living kind of like sub-lives. It's almost like we're in the sort of the gutter just beneath where optimal living could be, and a large part of that is due to sugar. And I think we've also become very complacent at hearing the term diabetes type 2. This, you can you can reverse diabetes type 2 through lifestyle changes, and they're simple. It's not massive. It's becoming aware of what you're eating, cutting out sugars, fake sugars, and cutting down the amount of refined carbs that we're eating, because again, we all eat way more carbs, refined carbs, than we really should be doing as well. If you think like of a big bowl of pasta, how much spaghetti is on that? And often it's not even whole wheat spaghetti, and all that gloopy stuff that's in the pan after you've boiled it, that gets stuck in your digestive system. So I would urge you to go easy on, I'm not saying have a carb-free diet or a completely low-carb diet, because we need carbs. They're incredibly important for our energy, particularly in the earlier part of the day. We don't need so much in the evening, but certainly in the earlier part of the day. They're a very important component, but normally in a much smaller portion size than we're currently eating. So anyway, basically, when we eat too much sugar, it sets up our bodies for inflammation. You'll find if you've got things like rheumatism, rheumatoid arthritis, you are going to have more inflammation in your joints. It sets our body up for a more acidic response. Now, our bodies are super clever. They'll always keep the balance inside us on a level. You know, when people say eat an alkaline diet, it doesn't turn your body alkaline, but it means that you're giving your body a bit of a helping hand, because it's not got to, we like to be at a sort of a neutral pH value in our bodies. When we're eating sugar, drinking a lot of tea and coffee, and alcohol, that sets us up for an acidic environment. So then our body has to work a lot harder to try and keep that homeostasis so that we keep reasonably healthy, and eventually we wear ourselves out. Sugar also creates something called these glycation end products, which make us look older. They make us have wrinkles. Sugar obviously causes a spike of insulin into our, or encourages our pancreas to create more insulin, and when we're consistently producing a lot of insulin, it actually starts to make the walls of our arteries harden, which then of course can increase your risk of stroke and heart disease. So it causes you acne, rots your teeth. I mean, I think your teeth are probably the least of the issues. But one of the main reasons, and the one I want to cover specifically today, is the fact that sugar will make your belly hang on to fat. It makes you hold on to more fluid. It really screws up your insulin. It screws up your potassium, which is one of our most important minerals in the body. And, insulin, for instance, acts like a little key. So when we eat something with sugar, our cells won't necessarily absorb the sugar until the insulin unlocks the cell wall to let the sugar in. So when we're consistently eating too much sugar, our pancreas just gets too exhausted, and that's when we set ourselves up for pre-diabetes, and then it results in diabetes type 2. Also can give us fatty liver, because the liver has an enormously important role to play as far as helping us cope with too much sugar. Also can bugger up your kidneys. It's just not good. But just briefly going on to potassium. So when we eat too much sugar, it has a negative impact on our potassium. Now, potassium we need for nerve conduction. We need it for balancing our fluid retention. It's an incredibly important mineral, and the only way we can get it is through food. We need a whopping 4,700 milligrams of potassium every day, which is a heck of a lot. And the reason most of us are not getting the right amount of potassium is the sugar is having a negative effect on the potassium, but we're not eating enough vegetables, which again takes me back to balancing macronutrients. They are so important to try and eat vegetables ideally 3 times a day. I know that sounds a lot, and you might just think, I hate vegetables. So find something like the daily shake. I mean, I love vegetables. I love salad, so it's not a problem. But I still add either kale or spinach or broccoli or sometimes cauliflower into my daily shake, because I have that generally as a late lunch, and so I'm giving myself more vegetables then. I also have vegetables for breakfast most days, and I always have vegetables or salad for my evening meal as well. So and that's the only way we're going to get potassium. I've actually got a list. I've got a printed out list of 10 of the top potassium containing foods. So if you want that, let me know. I'll send that to you. But things like, so I think around about a quarter of your daily potassium intake, daily value, you can get from like salmon. You can get it from green leafy vegetables. They're very high in potassium. White potatoes are not bad. What else is there? Avocados are very good in potassium. Off the top of my head, I can't quite remember large white beans also are very high in potassium. Oh, and that's right, beet greens are one of the highest types of greens that you can get potassium in. But that's only giving you about a quarter of your daily recommended amount. So, you really do. It's incredibly important to maintain potassium levels. So also potassium will help you combat sugar cravings. So if you're craving sugar, it's probably because you're eating too much refined sugar anyway. So you've got this spike and drop in your blood sugar levels, but you're probably low on potassium too. So always, keep that in the back of your mind. The more green leafy vegetables or large white beans, sweet potatoes also contain quite a lot of potassium that you can eat. You're gonna help yourself manage to get over those sugar cravings. There are healthier sugars you can use. Stevia is a plant, and it's 200 times sweeter than natural sugar. Not everybody likes the aftertaste of stevia, but it's a much healthier sugar alternative. There is xylitol, but if you've got pets, it's fatal to dogs, so just be careful about that. Dentists love xylitol. It goes into a lot of chewing gums. That's another conversation, because I don't necessarily agree with chewing gum too much either, because it sets up your body, your belly thinks you're about to eat something and then nothing comes. So you've got all this acid and digestive juices that are saying, come on, where's the food? And there isn't any. But, you know, if you've eaten something sweet and you've got some chewing gum that contains xylitol, that's probably a healthy-ish option to help keep your teeth a little bit cleaner. Just quickly on the difference between white, brown and raw sugar as well, because raw sugar in its natural state actually isn't that bad, because sugar is contained, raw sugar basically, when it's made white, they separate the sugar from the molasses. The molasses is the brown stuff. And so the raw sugar is a combination of the original sugar cane and the molasses. So that's pretty healthy as far as sugars go. The white sugar is processed, it's had all the molasses, the goodness taken away from it. Avoid it like the plague. Brown sugar, you might be buying that thinking, oh, it's brown, it's got to be healthier. It's not. It's white sugar that's actually had the colouring of the molasses added back into it. So white and brown, just don't bother with. Raw sugar, if you have to have sugar, go for the raw sugar option. It is much, much healthier for you. Other things to help are to add a little bit of cinnamon. So maybe have cinnamon in your coffee, have it in some yogurt. That will help you deal with your sugar cravings as well. So I'm going to whiz on, because I can see I've got my batteries about to go on my Wi-Fi booster. Where I am, the signal's horrendous here. So I'm going to go over, I've had to write these down so I can share the marketing spiel with you, but I just want to give you some comparisons and show you how scary it is and how difficult it is to make those sensible decisions. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to just plug this in, because I don't want this to break while we are live. I don't want to lose my power. So that's done. Okay, that should keep us going for a little bit longer. Apple juice. So for those of us with kids, or do you like your juice in the morning? Yes, apple juice, orange juice, they're a nightmare. So apple juice, excuse me, getting older, I need to put my spectacles on so I can read clearly. Apple juice, 15 grams of sugar per serving. It's got no fibre at all. That's ugh, bad stuff. If you want apple juice, eat an apple. That's the easiest and healthiest way to do it. Hey Pradeep, again, haven't seen you for ages. So innocent kids peaches and pineapple juice. It's marketed for kids. It's described as an innocent smoothie for kids, is a blend of whole crushed fruit, pure juices and absolutely nothing else. Wouldn't you think you're giving your little angel something healthy? That's got 22 grams of sugar and 0.8 grams of fibre. Again, leave it on the shelf. It's not healthy. Fruit bowl, yogurt, flakes, strawberry flavoured. Get this. This is what they say. Real fruit in tasty yogurt. Natural colours and flavours. Yummy treat. Fruit made fun. Perfect for little lunch boxes. Irresistible, intensely fruity and incredibly moreish. Gluten-free, vegetarian society approved. Sugar, 13 grams. These are all per serving, so they're not for the entire box, it's per serving. And fibre, 0.8 grams. Again, it's just, that doesn't want to be going in any little lunch boxes. That just wants to be going in the bin. Tropicana orange juice for 1 glass. 13 grams of sugar, 0.9 grams of fibre. Just don't go there. Okay, cola. Now, the reason, I mean, we all know cola's pretty bad. It's 39 grams of sugar and 0 fibre. I mean, it's just like, why do you want to eat that stuff or drink that stuff? Coca-Cola is committed to making a positive difference to the health of the planet, consumers and the communities it serves. The company is working hard to reduce its impact on the environment in everything it does, growing more while using less, blah, 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 and encouraging people to think more about the positive impact they can have on their local environment. I wonder if they refer to health there as well. This product is GMO-free, gluten-free, allergen-free, and suitable for vegetarians and vegans. Okay, well, I've got several issues with this, because then you might say, well, okay, that's fine, I drink Diet Coke or zero sugar Coke. But the zero sugar Coke contains aspartame, which has had a lot of negative press, you may have realised. And also the artificial sweeteners in Coke are also associated or linked. There's a lot of studies out there, go and Google it if you don't believe me, about how the artificial sweeteners affect our microbiome in our gut. And we all know how important a healthy gut is for our mental health, because over 90% of our serotonin, which is our feel-good hormone, gets produced in our gut, not in our brain. So when your digestive health is off, it has such a negative impact on your mental health on so many levels. It also contains I can never say these things, acesulfame, okay? Another artificial sweetener, again, which has a similar effect, but it also contains the colour caramel 150D. And that has been, it's a food colouring which is produced with ammonia. And there's a lot of negative press on that too. So I'll let you go and sort of have a look at that, because otherwise this makes this very, very long. And I don't really want them to feel that I'm really targeting them individually, but there's a lot of rubbish that goes into that stuff. I have got some positive ones to share at the end of this as well, because we want to balance it out and I want to give you some healthy options. Okay, these are blueberry muffins. You might think, oh, blueberry, contains blueberry, that's fine, it's going to be quite healthy. They've got 21.5 grams of sugar, 1.5 grams of fibre, and it'll be saturated in fat, and it won't be healthy fat. So again, just pick some blueberries and have, you know, if you want something a bit stodgy, maybe have a round of homemade granary toast or something. Nature Valley Crunchy Oat and Dark Chocolate Granola Bar, 11.1 grams of sugar, 2.7 grams of fibre. These so-called healthy snack bars, they're not, they're just chock pack full of sugars. Alpen Muesli, you might think that's healthy, 9.5 grams of sugar, 3.5 grams of fibre. So there is a bit more fibre and the sugar's not quite so high, so that's not quite so bad. Ideally, you want to be looking at around about 5 grams of sugar to 1 gram of fibre. But if you want to be healthy, you want the fibre to be higher than the sugar. And I have got a few of those I'm about to share with you. Now, I eat a low sugar granola. It is completely low sugar. It's not got false stuff in it. It's called Lizzie's. I buy it from Tesco's. That's got 1.9 grams of sugar and 4.9 grams of fibre. So, bing, that's a good one. And Scott's porridge oats. Again, I have that. If I don't eat vegetables for breakfast in the morning, I have my Scott's porridge oats and 0.4 grams of sugar and 3.6 grams of fibre. Winner. Oatabix, 1.5 grams of sugar, 3.5 grams of fibre. Another winner. Weetabix, 1.6 grams of sugar, 3.8 grams of fibre. Again, another really healthy alternative. On the other side of the equation, because it's very popular, Crunchy Nut Cornflakes. It says 50% of your daily vitamin D needs. No artificial colours or flavours. Suitable for vegetarians. Halal approved. Kosher. And 11.9 grams of sugar, 0.8 grams of fibre. It might be kosher, it may be halal approved, but you do not want it in your body. Activia yogurt, this is a scary one. Particularly, as it said, we're on a mission to help you feel good from the inside out. Oh, really? And with 30 years of experience and our passion for happy guts, we're going to make it delicious. Activia helps you feel good from the inside out, because that's what really counts. They really sound like they want you to be healthy, don't they? And this stuff has got, it says exclusive live cultures. Now, I'm going to go into that in a minute. 4.2 grams of sugar, 0 fibre. I mean, they're having a joke. This is just so frustrating. Now, I don't know what live yogurt cultures they're referring to, but most live yogurt cultures do not survive the passage through the gastric juices of the stomach. The whole point of eating a probiotic is that it gets to the colon, so the large intestine, which is where it does its good. That's where it does its work. There are very few live probiotics that actually survive that trip. Bacillus, I call it bacillus, some people say bacillus, Bacillus coagulant,